You've probably heard their names: Miriam, Esther, Mary, Jezebel, but do you really know their stories? The Bible is filled with women who stood at the center of world-changing events. They weren't just side characters, they were leaders, prophetesses, and saviors whose choices altered the course of history and faith itself. Today, we're digging into the surprising impact of 7 incredible women. First up, Deborah. In a deeply patriarchal society, she held 3 of ancient Israel's most powerful titles: prophetess, judge, and military leader. Israel was suffering under brutal oppression, but Deborah was a woman of unshakable faith. On God's command, she ordered a man named Barak to raise an army. He refused to go unless she went with him. She agreed, prophesying the final honor would go to a woman. Just as she said, she marched with the army. God gave them a stunning victory, and Israel saw 40 years of peace. Long before Deborah, Miriam, the sister of Moses, was the first woman in the Bible called a prophetess. As a girl, her quick thinking saved baby Moses from Pharaoh's decree. Later, after crossing the Red Sea, while Moses led the men in song, Miriam grabbed a tambourine and led the women in a joyous dance of worship, showing she was a central spiritual leader in the Exodus. Now, let's jump to the Persian palace, where a young Jewish woman named Esther became queen. When a wicked official plotted to annihilate all Jews, Esther was the only one who could intervene. Approaching the king unsummoned meant death, but she famously said, "If I perish, I perish." She bravely exposed the plot, saving her people and leading to the creation of the festival of Purim, still celebrated today. Not all influence is good. Meet Jezebel, a Phoenician princess who became queen of Israel. She used her immense power to establish the worship of her own gods, systematically executing the Lord's prophets. When a man refused to sell his vineyard to her husband, she had him framed and killed. Her story is a chilling lesson in how one person's rebellion can corrupt a nation from the top down. Fast forward to the early days of Christianity. In Philippi, we meet Lydia, a wealthy businesswoman. After hearing the Apostle Paul, she and her household were baptized, becoming the first converts to Christianity in Europe. She then turned her home into the very first European church, bankrolling the movement that would change the world. Next is Mary Magdalene, a devoted follower of Jesus. While many male disciples fled, she stood at the cross. But her most history-altering moment came 3 days later. According to all 4 Gospels, she was the first person to discover the empty tomb and the first person to see the resurrected Jesus, making her the first evangelist of the Christian faith's central event. Finally, we have Mary, a humble girl who said yes to being the mother of Jesus Christ. She wasn't passive. She was an active, willing participant who endured hardship and stood by her son to the very end. Her simple yes to God split history forever into a before and an after. These women were anything but secondary characters. They were movers, shakers, and history makers whose stories prove that influence is born from courage and faith. Which woman's story inspires you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories like these. Thanks for watching.